What is up, guys? And today we got something a little bit different. It is another day of eating, but today I'm gonna try and attempt to eat in a keto way. So what that means is my macronutrients aren't gonna be like normal. Normally I go for sort of between about 40% fat, 40% carbs, 20% protein. And then on off days I'll drop the carbs down to 30 and up the fat up to 50. But today is an off day, so I'm going to up the fat, but I'm going to up it a lot. I'm actually going to go for about 70% fat, 10% carbs and 20% protein. So this is essentially a ketosis diet. Not sure how much benefit from ketosis I'm going to get from today, because like you really kind of need to do it on a regular basis to remain in ketosis, because I had like a fair amount of carbs last night after training. You may also be wondering what this translates to in terms of macronutrients. So 20% protein, I'm getting off about 3,000 calories, so it's about 150 grams of protein, about 70 odd grams of fat, so we're going for about 300 calories, 70 grams of carbs, about 300 calories worth of carbs, which is about 75 grams of carbs, and then the rest fat, and I think it's going to end up being, I don't know, 220, 230 grams of fat, a lot of fat basically, so it should be interesting. Anyway, I'll catch you guys when I get into work and making up some coffee. Just picked up some mackerel, fatty protein source 1. Alright guys, so this morning I'm essentially just going to go for bulletproof coffee. So I've got 15 grams of butter, I think, like 20 grams of butter, 5 grams of coconut oil, and I'm going to add 10 grams of brain octane, so at the moment we're on a bit of a pure fat, some stees along with some pills, and then boxes for lunch later. So I'm just going to enjoy the coffee with the bulletproof, so I mean it's going to start me off in a good way for this ketosis thing, and then probably leave it till lunch. So I'll just make this up and then see you guys in a bit. As far as pills go today, we have the 2 cod liver oils, a ginseng, which is an adaptogen, very very cool thing, kind of helps you deal with stress, the D, K and iodine, and then another vitamin D capsule here, sorry, K capsule here, because I've been having quite a lot of vitamin D lately, just to balance things out, and then turmeric and charcoal for later. And that is breakfast. So after my bulletproof, I decided to have this pucker detox tea. It has like fennel seeds and kind of some aniseed stuff in. Tastes pretty good, and just seeing if it's working. I'm also working at a standing desk, if this ever focuses, to try and prevent the amount of time I'm sitting. About 12 o'clock I had this as a snack, which was 90% cocoa lint chocolate and some Brazil nuts. I had 30 grams of dark chocolate and 20 grams of Brazil nuts, just for like a fat boost before I go swimming. Macros on screen. What is up, people? It is lunchtime by the sea. And I'm not eating yet. I just had the bulletproof coffee earlier. I then had the chocolate and Brazil nuts. And finally, I am going to go for a swim before lunch, basically. So I've had pretty much a pure fat day so far. I mean, there's a little bit of protein, a little bit of carbs in there as well, but it's actually fibre. So I mean, if I was counting net carbs, it would be pretty minimal. So I'm just about to hit the beach for a sea swim. It's currently mid-October, so it's pretty chilly but not too bad. It's quite a nice day, so gonna get some cold therapy. If you haven't heard, check out a guy called Wim Hof, because he is pretty damn awesome and he's inspired me to start doing this sort of like cold exposure sort of stuff. So definitely just Google that name, listen to Tim Ferriss' podcast, watch Vice's documentary. It's bloody interesting and pretty cool. Like when you get into it, it's just really fun, bit of a challenge. Anyway, time for a swim, catch you in a bit. Still lean. Here we go, sea swim. Peace. So, it is done. I am pretty cold, but I feel awesome. I feel like my body's on fire. I actually swam from that groin to this groin. So only about 200 meters, 10-minute swim, but it's enough to get that therapy that you need. Anyway, I need to get some clothes on because I'm freezing. End of the cold exposure, just going back to work. Would really recommend this if you've never tried it before. Just start off simple. Turn the shower cold for a minute, or on and off between warm and cold, and then just try and go for a swim this heat or whatever. So after my swim, I decided to have this chicken broth, and I would have actually had soup, but I only had chicken broth and didn't have time to make soup, so I basically just chucked a load of like kale, cabbage, thyme and coriander into my chicken broth, as well as like some spices just to flavour it up. And on the side I'm having this with some mackerel, as well as a bit of black kale, and then also the classic San Pellegrino water, which is just super tasty and full of loads of minerals as well. And alongside this I'm also going to have some turmeric capsules, as I usually do, and that is because the pepper in the soup is going to help me absorb the turmeric better, as you can see there. So just had this to warm me up from my swim basically, and provide some nutrients before later. Alright guys, so just finishing up today's eating at work. Got this big ass salad, a whole avocado, finishing off the rest of the mackerel that I bought earlier, and 3 eggs, and I'm going to top this off with 15 grams of olive oil and some apple cider vinegar. I've also got a decaf coffee on the side, and that is it. My macros are looking pretty good at the moment, about 150 grams of fat, only 30 grams of carbs, and I think a fair bit of that is fibre, so probably can take away and have some more later. So I will see you as I'm demolishing this bad boy. What is up? Again, I've just got back from work and I thought I could actually talk to you properly rather than just like filming clips of what I'm eating, which is essentially what I do, but just talk with, I don't know, I thought it would be more entertaining. We're currently at about 150 grams of fat, I think about 70 grams of protein and maybe like 30 grams of carbs, so all in all, it's looking promising. Still got a good 80 grams of protein to get. Probably a good 80 grams of fat as well, and then maybe like 30 grams of carbs. I have by no means left my like proteins low during this beginning part of the day, but I haven't kept it high either. I left half of it until later on because protein still has an insulin response, which is what you're trying to minimize when you're eating in a ketogenic way. You're trying to maximize your fat, reduce your insulin response, and maximize fat burning. So that kind of sums up. I'm not sure what I'm going to have for dinner yet. I have to see what's in the fridge. But really, probably just more fat. I might do some roast veg, but I won't have the sweet potatoes this time. I'll just have like carrots, other starchy things. And then maybe some raspberries later for a bit of sweetness, because I have to finish them off before tomorrow, but we'll see. So for dinner tonight we have some lamb leg steaks with the bone in. My mum picked these up today at the butcher's and they are perfectly ideal for what I'm eating today. High in protein, pretty high in fat, especially with that marrow in the middle. I'm just cooking some soup as well on the side, which is for tomorrow and kind of the rest of this week. I'll put a link in the description because I made a video on how to make this soup. It's really, really tasty. I've also got some roast veg in here. And unfortunately, I can't really manage to have much more than like onions, leeks, a little bit of carrot and a little bit of beetroot, just due to restriction of carbs. So, but I do realise that I have 40 more grams of fat to get today, and probably going to put butter on this meal as well as oil I've had with the roast veg to make up some of that, and then I'll have to finish it off later with something else. But it kind of sums up, and I'll show you when I've finished the meal. So that kind of wraps up today of eating. I've just got this shake here. You probably saw maybe in the last clip or maybe in this clip. It's just 12 and a half, 13 grams of whey protein, 12 grams of collagen, in total about 20 grams of protein, because I was pretty bang on for fat. I was about 20 grams short of protein. I thought I was 40 grams short of fat, but I realised I just didn't put enough of that lamb in, because it was quite fatty and I was like just out. So it ended up being like 230 grams of fat, 90 grams of carbs, and 150 grams of protein. But we can discount some of those carbs because I had like 55 grams of fiber today. So if you're counting net carbs, then I had 35 grams of carbs. I can't even do that. Yeah, 35 grams of carbs, so we're counting net carbs. So all in all, I think that was a pretty keto day. I still feel like I got a lot of energy, but I think I can feel like I haven't had carbs today because I feel like weaker, which is weird. Like I've still done a fair bit of exercise now. I think about it. Like I've walked to the beach and swam, and then walked back, and then walked up the stairs at work all the time, and walked home and all that sort of stuff. So I probably did need some carbs today, but it was interesting to like try out something different. I will throw up the macronutrients here just so you guys can have a look through them. But all in all, it was a really good day. The vitamins, whenever it gets to it, are without the oxalate. I mean, it's a 0-calorie thing, but if I added that in, it would be like better, more vitamins. But I didn't bother today. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. I actually don't enjoy eating this way that much because I have to eat a hell of a lot of fat. I mean, like 230 grams of fat in a day is a fuck ton of fat, in all honesty. I don't actually want to eat that much. I really like how I'm eating currently, which was sort of more of a, well, I would say moderate, a high carb paleo. I think paleo would call me, but probably more moderate carb, sort of 150 to 200 on off days and 250 to 300 on training days, which for me is like perfect for a little bit of gaining mass, perfect for energy, perfect performance. Not quite as good on mental energy or performance, but it's kind of a trade-off. Overall, it is the winner. So I hope you guys enjoyed this ketogenic diet example. It was a little bit different, but essentially the same thing, just kind of less shakes and a bit more fat, or a lot more fat. Yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and a comment down below. And for all of those who have watched, the last edition of the Body by Rings pool day number 2 will be out in like 4 days time or something like that. So make sure you stay updated and keep checking, and I'll upload that. And then I've got my push deload pool tomorrow and the day after, and that is it for my first phase. So then I'll probably post another video looking at my progress. So I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.